Please welcome Paul Dodd, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. I want to tell you a little story. So it's a hair salon that was based in Australia. And what they wanted to do was gather some data from the customers so they could do some marketing. So they asked the usual stuff, name, where you live, but then they asked the ladies their husband's mobile number. And so the next time they had the haircut, they left the salon, and they texted the husband and says, your wife's had a haircut, make sure you notice. And what brilliant word of mouth marketing that is. Everyone talked about it. I'm in England and I'm talking about it. And that's what word of marketing's about. And I remember I was at a networking event and there was a lady I used to see sort of regularly, and I said, you've had your haircut, haven't you? She went, my husband doesn't even know it's that. How did you know? I don't know if it's flirting or networking, I'm not really sure. But is there a difference? Is there a difference? Because you think about a networking event, you know, you're at the bar, you see an attractive business stood there, and you think, yeah, I've got a good product here, yeah. Got 10 years experience, got a nice big logo. You know, I might sort of, you know, lots of client testimonials, and you walk up over the bar, don't you? And what's the flirting equivalent of what you do in networking? Hello, I'm Paul, I'm a male, I'm 33 years old, I live on my own in Woodlesford. And that's, you know, name, rank, sector, number, isn't it? And what they're going to say to you, come back to my flat, yeah, that's great, I'm in. No, you're not enticing them, are you? You're telling them what sector you're in, what your rank is, not what you do. And isn't it crazy that there's not many people that actually really know what we do, is there? Sorry, I forgot to click this. So networking, flirting. So you've got to get known for something, haven't you? You've got to get known for something. Word of mouth marketing, what have you got in that? You've got words and you've got mouths. The word, you know, you need to have some words to say, and the mouth, someone needs to say it. So what are you known for? And quite often what you're known for is not what you want to be known for, is it? You know, people spend all this money on this kind of brand stuff. We do massive brand strategy, and websites and exhibition stands, and then this one client came to us and they did all this stuff. We came up with sophisticated campaigns, all these great strap lines. And then I phoned up to speak to the boss. I said, hello, is Julie there? No. Okay, will she be in soon? I don't know. Okay, right, have you got a number? No. Right, you've not got the boss's mobile number? No, mate, no. Will you tell her I phoned? Yeah, I will. Doof. Put the phone down, didn't take name, number, anything. And that's the person that's putting this image out there to all their customers after spending all this money on their brand. And what good's that? And you think about kind of social media, and I asked Chloe, who's our new graduate designer, do you want to come and do this talk today? And what did she do? No. But I said, do you want to manage our Twitter account? She said, yeah, I'll jump at it. And I said, well, we've got like thousands of people on Twitter. There's maybe 200 people here. Why would you rather talk to 200 than 1,000? Oh, right, yeah. And you just think about, that's your voice, isn't it? That's your brand, that's what's out there. And you're putting all this brand stuff, this word of mouth out there. And what happens? People don't listen, do they? They don't listen. They've got so much stuff going on in their lives that they don't really listen, and they make a judgment call. In NLP, they call it delete, distort, and generalize. And there's so much going on, the conscious and the unconscious, that it bundles you up and puts you in this little box. So if you did the website, you're a web designer, no matter all the other stuff you do. If you did a certain amount of coaching, you're the coach. And people don't listen. Apparently I don't listen, I get told all the time by my wife. But, I mean, my dad doesn't listen because he's a bit deaf. So it was a brilliant story. He was going to the doctors, and my mum said, while you're there, why don't you get your hearing checked out? He says, I haven't got hernia, Carol. I don't need to get checked out. So that's why men don't listen. So, you know, you need to get remembered for something. What do you think you're known for? Is it what you think you want to be known for? We did an exercise in a speaking gig last week, and it was with Rachel, social media expert, and we asked everyone in the group what you're known for, and they all said a great connector. And she went, oh, I hadn't really thought of it like that. And now she thought a social media expert, guru, it was the great connector. So that's what she's known for. And I get known for certain stuff as well. I always tell this story. I was at a networking event, and this guy comes up to me and goes, Paul. I hadn't seen him for ages. He says, I was thinking about you the other day. I was like, right, okay, what were you thinking about? I looked at this website and I was like, right, what's the website? He goes, shiteshirts.com. And so I kind of said, right, okay, you wouldn't believe how shite they are. It's right up your street. I have no idea why he said this. No idea why he said this, but at least he was thinking of me. And I do get known for the shirts. People do say, even 10 years later, he's still wearing those. They don't say shite shirts, by the way. I don't actually think they're that shite, but if you go to the website, they are really shite. So, but he was thinking of me. I'd met him for years. So I'm known for that. I'm also known for the ideas man. And it's kind of something a bit different to graphic designer. You know, what's an ideas man then? It opens up the question when you meet people. So what? Tell me an idea then. So we worked with a plumber. We did a water balloon fight in the park, branded up some balloons, had T-shirts on. All the kids got soaked. He handed out flyers. He raised his profile in the area. Is that a bit better than just sending out a letter? So yeah, it's just about getting home somewhere. And when I say a story like that, they go, that's quite a good idea. I like that. So the ideas man works better than graphic designer. So this word of mouth marketing, what is it? Let's break it down. Word, there needs to be some words in the mouth. And if you don't put the words there, they'll make up their own, won't they? Of mouth, it needs to be someone who's saying this stuff. And marketing, it's got to work. It's got to be a communication piece that works and gets you clients. So this kind of works 2 degrees of separation, doesn't it? You remember it used to be 6 degrees of separation, didn't it? It's got to be like 2 now, hasn't it? With Twitter and social media and everything. It's got to be really tight connected. And you think of all these people you're connected to, and they don't know what you do they? I mean, friends and family, how frightening is it that they know about what you do? Your friends and family, just think about it. How little do they actually know what you do? Because how does the conversation go in the pub? Hi Dave, how's business? All right. And then you're on to the pint, aren't you? And that's it. And you never really tell them what you do. So maybe I just add in another little phrase at the end of that that says, hi Dave, how's business? Yeah, it's good. We're working with loads of accountants in the minute. I don't know if you know any, but anyway, let's get a pint in. And it just lays a seed in their head that they're looking for accountants. Oh, right, I didn't know you did that. Because in that phrase you never want to hear, is it? I didn't know you did that. That's the one phrase that we all hate hearing in business. You can be working with a client for years. My sister, we were about 6 years into the business, and she says, Paul, do you do websites? And I was like, yeah. What did you think we did? And one of my mates said, I thought you draw bunnies. I was like, what? I've drawn bunnies in my career at Easter, but that's not the mainstay of my business. I do all this sophisticated marketing stuff. But a week later, we had a quote out for a website for a friend in Jersey. Just because I sat down and had like a one-to-one, really, with my sister, like a business meeting. Because we'd never really asked before. And you think of all these people that you know that probably don't know the benefits of what you do. We were at another family party, and this David came on and he says, Paul, you do computers and that, don't you? And I was like, yeah, a bit more than that, but yeah, we do computers and that. So, do you do websites? I said, yes, yeah, we do websites. We just had ours done. And I was like, thanks for that. Yeah, I looked at it. It was massive. I mean, it could have been like 15 grand's worth of website. I didn't know. They were asking us if we knew anyone, and I never thought of you. I've known him for about 10 years. Maybe if I'd have just had that conversation with him a year before, there'd have been 15k in our bank account. You think about all those people that's happening with, all these connections you're not really making the most of. Because you know, when people have the right thought in their mind, there's one phrase that I think sums up word of mouth marketing. I thought of you straight away. Wouldn't it be great for all people to be thinking that? I thought of you straight away. You know, when someone's talking, and you have a handful of people, don't you? You have have a car mechanic and a plumber or a business coach or an accountant, and someone's talking about their needs, and you go, I thought of you straight away. Did it with our accountant. Someone came to us. They saw Xero up on, does anyone use Xero? They saw Xero up on the screen, said, what's that? Said, it's our bookkeeping software. What do you do? Spreadsheet, print it out, reconcile. All right, yeah, well, you want to speak to Debbie. She's the best accountant ever that we've ever had. We totally understand our numbers. She's brilliant. I thought of her straight away. And imagine if you got all these people thinking that. It's like a sales team on the road for you, isn't it? It's like a sales team. So what are they going to be thinking? Are they going to be thinking you draw bunnies or that you do sophisticated brand strategy? Well, I hope my sister will now be thinking the latter. So you need to get known for this something. It happens we were at a wedding, and it was when Allgood used to have 2 directors. James was at a wedding, and you know it's like at a wedding when the kind of champagne and the wine flow, and he was talking to this guy at the bar, ages and ages, and then he phones us up on the Monday and he says, I really like what you were saying, James. I said, what were you saying, James? He says, I've no idea. I've no idea. But it obviously worked. So we got this client. We ended up doing product ranges for Boots, Next, Sainsbury's, Morrison's and The Range in the next 2 years from this chance meeting at a wedding, because he told him what he did, what he actually did, rather than graphic designer, cool, move on, have a pint. And that's where these connections all start. That's where word of mouth starts working for you. Because isn't this a great phrase? Sales is a transfer of enthusiasm, isn't it? I hope I'm being quite enthusiastic now, but sales is a transfer of enthusiasm. You need to get your enthusiasm about your product over to all the people you meet, not just the people at the structured networking events. I mean every person you know, because you never know who they know, do you? That next referral might lead to your biggest client.com, mightn't it? And you just need to start having these conversations. There was a story of when Apple launched the iPad 2, and apparently a guy sent the iPad back with a note on it that said, wife says no. And they sent it back to him, refund him, and put Apple says yes. That's enthusiasm. People love Apple. I don't know if that's just a PR story, but the PR guys got hold of it, they got it out there, and it's about enthusiasm, about your product, your service, to all the people that you know, because you know loads of people. Are you making the most of it? Because there's this, people hate being sold to, but they bloody love buying stuff, don't they? We all hate being sold to, but I mean, we'll buy any opportunity, won't we? So you need to make sure this brand and this word of mouth and this stuff makes people kind of love getting in touch with you and want to buy your service. Because you don't want to sell to them, do you? Everyone hates being sold to. So it's about establishing relationships first. It's about letting them know what you do, getting known for something, because people decide emotionally, but then justify logically. They decide emotionally and then justify logically. So you have to make sure you're hitting their emotions. It works with our client, IQ Property. They do property investments for people with money. And this one client came to them and they said, right, we found you this perfect investment. It's a car park in like Slough. The yield was amazing. And he said, is there anything else? There's a chateau in France. The yield's not as good. He's got to get flights over there. Which one do you think he picked? The car park that made sense. What did the logic say? Car park. What did emotion say? I want a sexy chateau in France. I can tell all my friends we can visit. And they bought the chateau, even though it was nowhere near as good for him. So you just got to start thinking about emotion over logic. Because it goes down to this thing, right? It's this is where the chaos theory starts coming in. Imagine like a rock star going to a hotel. So Paul McCartney is one of my favourites because I love the Beatles. But he goes to this hotel. What do they do for him? The massive rider, the red carpet. They send out the cars to pick him up. They lay on the rock star customer service, don't they? They lay on the rock star customer service because they know him. But what they might not have known was 3 months before, the PA was researching and wrecking the area. And they weren't as bothered about her. And the bags didn't turn up at the room. No one was there at reception desk when she was choosing this stuff. Because you lay on the stuff. It's easy to lay it on for the rock star, isn't it? It's easy to lay it on for Paul McCartney. I often ask my clients, are you ready for your dream referral? What if Apple wanted to meet you tomorrow morning? And what do they all say? I'll clean up my meeting room. You know, I'll get the stuff on the wall. This lady last week was, I'll buy a new dress, I'll get some shoes. You know, and someone else said, you know, I'll get these really good biscuits. And I said, yeah, but why didn't you do that for me? She said, I did buy a new dress for you, you just didn't notice. And I said, all right, well, that's a man thing. But anyway, I said, yeah, but you never know who's connected to that guy at Google, do you? You don't know whether his cousin or his brother or his drinking buddy is your next meeting, because that one could be the kind of one that sets it all off. And this is where it comes down to this chaos theory. So Dr. Edward Lorenz wrote a paper, does a flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas. You've all heard that one, haven't you? Yeah, and it gets applied to weather systems, sandstorms, and don't you think it could be applied to like word-of-mouth marketing? Because all these little inconsequential meetings happen. So we went to a music event, and this guy said, do you do design? I said, yeah. Can you design some posters for our event? It's a charity event, it'll have to be free. All right then, design some posters for the event. We were at the event, and this guy said, oh, can I chat to you? I love this design. I said, yeah. So we had a meeting. We put a quote out. We ended up doing his entire branding. 2 years later, 5 million turnover, biggest client for 2 years. They then got took over by a £10 million company. We then did all their stuff for the next 2 years. The guy who left because he made so much money set up 3 other businesses. We ended up doing all that stuff as well. And you think when them butterfly wings flapped all the way back 4 or 5 years ago at some tiny little event, I could have never known that, could I? The science of the impossible is the chaos theory. So if you think this stuff's happening all the time, what have you got now? You've just got this one person you're meeting right now. We can't all have the rock star treatment, but we can have attitude, courtesy. We can have, we can just treat people the way we want to be treated, can't we? Because you never know where that butterfly wings are flapping all the time. You'll meet people today that could easily do that in 5 years. But, you've no idea which one, have you? So, when you make the judgment call at networking sometimes, and you're thinking, oh, well, I need to get away from this person, talking about accounts for ages. Sorry, accountants, but, you know, I'm only joking. You need to get away because you just never know who they know. So it's worth trying to open up their contacts. Do you remember the phrase, it's not what you know, it's... Yeah, maybe we could flip that a little bit. It's not what you know, it's who knows who you know, isn't it? Because maybe you're one step away from the Google, the Apple, the Virgin, and if you treat them right, they might just want to refer you into Google. But if you're not very courteous, and you're not got the right attitude, and you can't wait to get out of the meeting, maybe they might not refer you on. So just think about all these people that you know. On LinkedIn, you're connected, you can see who they're connected to, but I'm telling you now, start with family and friends when you get out there. You're all going to have conversations now, and all your family's going to be like, why are you selling to me? I just want a pint. I'll leave it to you how you do it, right? It sounds like a lot of our stuff's done in the pub, doesn't it, really? But anyway, it's a kind of a good place to do business. But yeah, it's great service. People remember great service, great product, and they remember great people. So I'll just put it to you. Do they know what you're known for? Is it what you want to be known for? Do they actually know what you do? I heard a great story in B&I about they got kids in to do the 60-second pitch, because you know how people try and overcomplicate things, and it was a guy who did waste management, sophisticated waste management, 60 seconds, all about this recycling, and they got this 6-year-old kid to come in, and he jumps in, he goes, if you've got black bins, my dad's got yellow bins, and they're much better for you. And that was it. And doesn't that sink in a bit easier than all this sophisticated waste management stuff? If you've got a black bin, he's got a yellow bin. So maybe ask a kid what you do. Don't ask my mates, he'll tell you draw bunnies or something like that. So it's all about creating customers for life, isn't it? Customers for life, till death us do part. So I did her a great story the other day. It was a little girl at a wedding. This has nothing to do with marketing, by the way. A little girl at a wedding, and she was transfixed with the bride. And she said, Mummy, why is the bride dressed in white? And she said, I don't want to get into a virginity talk at a wedding. It's because white's the colour of happiness, and today's the happiest day of her life. She says, wow, why is the groom dressed in black? I don't know, I remember that, but yeah. I say people remember great product, great service, great people, attitude, courtesy. That's what you need to be doing. So get out there. So imagine if you know one person, they know maybe 100 good contacts. If them 100 know about the same, that's 10,000, 2 steps away. If you maybe ask for a referral into 10% of them and convert some, maybe 20%, that's 200 new clients. You haven't had to go to any other events. You haven't had to do anything. You just had to work the people you already know. Because, you must be connected to thousands of people, if you think about it. Do they know what you do? Or do they think you draw bunnies? I say get out there, make sure they know what you do. Make sure if you're a brand specialist, you're known as a brand specialist and not just a graphic designer. If you're the coach, make sure you're the best coach of all. So I say it's the chaos theory. Think about it. You never know where it's going to go. Get out there, get meeting people. Thank you very much.